Thank you, sir. Everybody in?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to November 5th Scituate Conservation Commission meeting. A couple of quick things to read. This meeting is being held virtual as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You're hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with those open meeting laws. And the town of Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during our meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcomed and respected. We ask our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards and to support and respect our community. With that said, we have an agenda for the evening, and if we could accept that agenda. I did want to discuss real quickly the naming of Appleton, the signage at Appleton Field. We could add that. It's not already on there. And then a little update on town meeting.
I did want to add one CFC for an old orders of conditions from 1978 over on 50 Oceanside.
From 1978?
1978. Yeah, it's number 168.
Okay. Oceanside?
Yes.
Yes, Penny.
I have just a real quick thing on a CPC, the bogs. Very quick.
And we'll do that at the end as well.
Yes, at the end, sir.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'll have those pieces. So can I get a motion to accept the agenda?
I make a motion we accept the agenda as written with those add-ons.
And that's Penny.
And Brendan is here if we want to we can make him a co-host.
Okay. All right. So I have a motion from Penny. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
That's Brendan. All in favor? Jen?
Yep.
Eric?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, who's not here?
Roger.
So Robbie?
Here.
Yes. And Frank, yes. Great, thank you. Okay. Why don't we go into project? First one is 21 Central Ave, and I believe they've requested a continuance to
December 15th, Frank.
Yep.
So I'm going to make a motion. We continue 21 Central Ave, 7 Marshfield to December 15th.
Okay. That's Penny. Second.
Second from Jen.
Okay. Thank you, Jen. All in favor? Brendan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Thank you. Okay. 30 Marshfield Ave.
Jeff DeLisi here for the applicant. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. I'm here also with my client, Steve Tripp, who I noticed is in the queue. Stan Humphreys was unable to make it this evening, who's also part of our team. If you guys are ready, I can explain efforts since the last meeting and talk to you about the project.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So just to summarize, this here is proposing this property has an existing single-family dwelling, 2 accessory buildings, and a cesspool. The single-family dwelling obviously is a dwelling. The 2 accessory buildings are not currently ADUs. To the east, the property is protected by a concrete seawall. This is one of the many properties along Hummerock that is just westerly or inside of that seawall that runs parallel to the ocean. In addition, there is a concrete wall that runs alongside Marshfield Avenue for a distance of about 100 feet, and kind of curves into the property. Uh, Northerly of that existing concrete seawall that runs parallel to Marshfield Ave is a sidewalk that is actually located on this property and is not being utilized due to the fact that the town of Scituate no longer allows vehicular traffic in this portion of Marshfield Ave. So this project is essentially to remove the two accessory buildings, replace them with an accessory dwelling unit, which is a protected use in the town of Scituate, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That ADU would be limited in size to, in this case, slightly less than 800 square feet of gross floor area. It also is proposed to have two decks that are each about 170 square feet apiece, one on the west side and one on the east side. The project would eliminate the existing cesspool and replace it with a compliant Title V system, which is an attribute. The project also includes, obviously, removing the two accessory buildings and replacing them with a fully flood compliant ADU, which would be elevated onto piles. That would be used by my clients who would live in the ADU. Additionally, we're proposing, Brad Holmes did essentially kind of a nourishment and restoration plan on the property where there's a significant amount of vegetation that's being proposed. So at the last meeting, the commission, I felt, was not particularly happy with the project. We were here back in December of last year or thereabouts, with essentially the same proposal. I think that the commission was hoping that there would be something different proposed. So we've looked at that, and I'll explain to you what we're about to do. Then we're going to request a continuance. In addition to that, we also, Eric had raised some questions about kind of, in addition to the project itself, the pathway of approval. Is this actually approvable? Greg DeCisa had given Jen some comments way back when we first pulled the DEP number on this, and they appeared to kind of question whether this is approvable as an accessory project. And then, so I have, since our meeting, our last meeting, I've actually spoken with Greg DeCisa. I also wanted to remind the board that I had provided a document, which was a letter back in August that explained the pathway here. And I'll explain my conversation with Greg in a minute because he did authorize me to tell you something. In addition, Frank had raised the question of whether, kind of what is the interplay with the fact that this is proposed to be an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, and the fact that there is an effort and a law in place in the state of Massachusetts to essentially prevent towns from unreasonably regulating or prohibiting ADUs. And so I reached out to the Attorney General, and I wanted to inform the board of the results of that conversation. So I'll start with that. So I talked with Anne, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Refalo. It's spelled Refalo. She's an assistant attorney general. She did explain to me that the Affordable Homes Act is an emergency act that was adopted by the state in August of 2024 with the intention of immediately addressing the concerns involving the public as it relates to housing which is affordable and the housing crunch that we find ourselves in. Um, she explained that that the law protects ADUs, in particular from municipalities, insofar as it tries to prevent municipalities from utilizing zoning bylaws and other regulations and ordinances so as to prohibit or unreasonably regulate the use of property for an ADU. So she was very clear that the law goes beyond just zoning and actually does apply to all municipal ordinances and bylaws. She indicated to me that Mass DEP is in the process of formulating a guidance on this, but she said that it's probably going to be a ways away. She didn't seem to have faith in the expediency of that process. But we did talk about the fact that the town regulations are not to be used to prohibit ADUs. And in this case, we have um, wetland regulations that actually allow accessory projects. And we talked about a bit about the fact that the regulations not only are state regulations, but also Section 1028 of the Scituate Wetlands Regulations, which is obviously a municipal ordinance, and that regulation, as it applies to coastal dunes, basically indicates that accessory projects, which are projects that are proposed on properties that already have a principal building, that that those are allowable under the regulations, both state and town, and that they actually use the word accessory, and so does the ADU bylaw, which she pointed out to me regulates the size of accessory dwelling units to no greater than 900 square feet. So, with that kind of as the backdrop, she was basically clear that the towns are not to construe regulations so as to prohibit or unreasonably regulate ADUs. And then I hung up the phone. I called Greg DeCisa. I talked to Greg. He was unaware of any effort within Mass DEP that she alluded to with respect to providing guidance for ADUs. He recalls the project. He recalls his comments to the projects. He said he was completely unaware that we were proposing a accessory dwelling unit, and that his intention of pointing out 310 CMR 1028 to the board, and in particular the language as it concerns accessory uses, was just to point out where in the regulation this is governed. I did explain to him that I provided the commission with a letter. I explained to him that the letter provided that there are two pathways of approval under 310 CMR 1028, that being under the no adverse impact standard as a new project construction, or separately as a accessory project. And he fully understood that and didn't seem to have any disagreement. He told me that I could explicitly tell you that he agrees with my analysis. So with that as the backdrop, I wanted to kind of remind the board a bit. I had informed the board that there was a project I had around the corner, which was a new accessory building, wasn't even replacing anything, out in Hummerock a few years ago. I provided the DEP number, and I know the commission is careful to make certain that every project stands on its own merits and doesn't create a precedent. But I just wanted to point out that this is not unlike many other properties in Hummerock and elsewhere in the town along the coast. This is protected by a seawall, which is a vertical buffer to storm damage. And I think the project improves on that. The entirety of Hummerock, technically, if you were to technically apply the regulations, is actually entirely a coastal dune. Um, Thousands of projects in Hummerock have been allowed, and I do want to point out that I'm keeping my eye on the project, which is a stone's throw away, which is 10 new townhouse units, also on this same road. And that's the Marina project. So I would be not doing my job if I didn't point that out. So the purpose tonight, other than explaining to you these conversations, is really to signal to the commission that we're considering making some changes to the project. I had previously alluded to, and Jen, Josh, if you guys can just pull up those three photos that I provided today. I previously alluded to about 400 square feet of an area of a concrete wall that runs parallel to Marshfield Ave and a sidewalk just west of that. That area is about 400 square feet, and the wall is about 4 to 6 feet high. It's impervious, and it clearly prevents the free flow of water should it get past the wall, the other wall, the seawall. This applicant is, as part of this project,
Are these the photos? Sorry to ruin your flow.
um, hold on.
Oh wait, I'm not
No,
sharing it. That's my problem. Okay, one second.
no,
My
yep,
fault. Sorry
that's
about that.
no, not, yes, these. So this seawall, you can see, is along the street, and you can see the sidewalk in the bottom right photo that runs parallel to the wall. That's actually on my client's property. So the concept would be to replace the wall and the sidewalk with vegetation. And it, I think, stands without any question that that would be a tremendous benefit, and an attribute that would facilitate the interests of the coastal dunes feature within the bylaw. Um, In addition, recognizing that the building, even though the gross floor area of the building for the ADU is around 800 square feet, we do show two decks on either side, on the north side and the south side of the building. And if you, Josh, if you could pull up the plan that you just had with the green color in it, that was the plan that Brad Holmes had done. On the actual proposed reconstructed accessory building, you'll see two dash lines in that rectangle, one on the top and one on the bottom. The dash line is actually representative on the top and the bottom of each of those lines of a deck. But the actual ADU unit is about a little less than 800 square feet, and that's the middle. So what we were proposing to do was remove one of those two decks. We need some decking just to get up into the building, since it would be elevated. So that's, in sum and substance, the changes that we'll likely make to the plan and file after hopefully the commission grants us a continuance tonight. And I would ask the commission to look at this as an accessory project, which, in my conversation with Greg DeCisa, he didn't seem to have a problem so long as we weren't proposing to actually alter a dune, which we're not. This is all disturbed area where we're proposing to do the work. There is some nourishment in the area of some sand and existing Rosa rugosa, which we're going to augment, which is fully allowable under your bylaw. So that's consistent with the conversation with Greg, and the project being accessory would also be consistent with what the Attorney General told me about how it's how as the state wants the towns to construe regulations. So with that, I was hoping to kind of get some feedback. Hopefully, you'd say that you think removing that wall and sidewalk and one of these decks is a step in the right direction. We can go ahead and do that, and I'm happy to then request a continuance. But please, by all means, fire away.
Frank, you might be muted.
I am. So thank you, Jeff. Um, okay. Who would like to comment first? Let me go to Eric.
Thanks, Frank. I appreciate the information, Jeff, on sort of the back end conversations that you had, as well as the proposed alterations to the plan. I think that is at least a good place to start. So I do appreciate that and would like to recognize that right out of the gate. And I guess one of the things relating to the assistant AG conversation that you had against unreasonable regulation against ADUs. I don't know as if that was explicitly stated that, that sort of broad strokes statement applied to the Wetland Protection Act, specifically as it relates to dune regulations. I don't know. So that would be something I would like to see spelled out, officially, like in writing, stating that, because I'm not against ADUs anywhere. I think it's just a matter of looking at the site and each specific location, independent of other sites. And I feel like this one in particular is especially challenging given the existing house location and proposed use, especially as it relates to parking and cars and the existing vegetation on the site. I just would like to see a little bit more evidence that there be no adverse impact. The burden is on the applicant to prove there will be no adverse impact on this site. As it stands now, the proposed project does disturb dune vegetation, which is not allowable and is not able to be mitigated or replicated in the same ways that it would if this was a BVW, for example. And I think those are two important things to think of moving forward as you revise this plan.
Eric, if I could just jump, I just wanted to stop you for a second. Disturbing existing vegetation, where do you see that is happening on the site? I could be missing it.
Underneath the proposed structure.
Well, there's a structure there right now, just so you know.
With vegetation around it.
Okay, that's what you're referring to. Okay.
Well, I mean, there is vegetation there, correct?
I haven't been out to the site in some period of time. My eyes didn't focus on it. I did provide photos.
Jeff,
to
it also
the
does
conditions.
say on the plan disturbed dune vegetation areas, and that is located underneath the proposed reconstructed accessory building as labeled on the plan.
Okay, I'll look into it. Yeah.
And there's two locations of that.
To be removed.
So I just want to be thorough,
Yep.
with the examination.
Yep. Got it.
So those are my two real big things on this, and I think again just the size and scope of this project as it relates to not just the structure being proposed, but the site usage after the fact has to be a consideration that we fold into the decision on this project. And I think that's all I have for now, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen Foley?
I don't think I have anything additional to add beyond what Eric initially commented. It's hard to comment on things that aren't written up yet, I
Right.
guess I would say.
Yep.
Okay. Penny?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, when you were talking to the AG, Jeff, did you specify this is in a dune?
What I talked to the Attorney General about was generally I kind of went through a summary similar to what I did here.
Yeah.
What I told her was technically this entire site in all of Hammerock is a dune, and that we talked about the fact of the fact that the regulation both in Scituate, which by the way, when I looked at it today, I noticed SWR 1028 when it refers to and allows projects to go forward that are accessory, it doesn't use the language that the state uses, which is the word small and including but not limited to. All it does is say accessory. Um, but we talked about the fact that uh, I felt that you were hung up on whether this is truly accessory given the scope or the size of this use. And so we focused on, if she pointed out, and we talked quite a bit about the fact that the word accessory is specifically used in the definition of accessory dwelling unit, and it's specifically used in the state regulation and the town regulation. And so we were kind of focusing on that. We didn't talk, she knew that this was all characterized as a dune, but in neither my conversation with her nor my conversation with Greg, um, I didn't want to put either one of them in a situation where I felt that they were making a call that ultimately has to be made by you. I was very careful to talk to Greg about his comments and whether there's a legal pathway, and to talk to her about ADUs and whether the state regulation, which allows accessory projects, should be honored in a situation where the state uses the word accessory in defining accessory dwelling unit. So, to answer your question, Penny, she knew, and we talked about that this was all characterized as dune, but I didn't get into the specifics of, I didn't show her the plan, nor did she ask to see it.
Okay. That's fine. It's ultimately, we've got to go by what we feel, okay, in the end. But at least you're trying to make some changes. We'll see how it goes. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Penny. Brendan?
I guess I should.
Broken
Uh,
up.
yeah, hi.
Nice, Brendan. Please be
Get,
nice.
yeah. Could I go last? I got to think about something here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, next to last, I get to go last.
Right.
Roger? I'm sorry, Robbie?
No comments from me this time.
Okay.
This time.
Is that enough time? Jen, I don't think I asked you.
Well, I can throw a few comments in there.
Yes, please.
I guess just to point out some things that are on the plan, that part of this site is in the velocity zone. So, in addition to the dune, we have an area that receives storm action, which is one of the things we're trying to protect.
The proposed building's not located in that area, just to be clear. I didn't want anybody to be misled by that.
And the existing, okay, well,
The
there's
velocity,
also septic going in, which I believe needs to meet the number of bedrooms of the current house. So they'll decommission a bedroom to add the bedroom over there. But all of that work happening a little bit, kind of past where that erosion control line is. And then parking for all of this happens on this site. So cars need to be able to get on the site, park, turn around, and get out. So just to keep in mind, it's not just the building; it's a driveway, so people can use the buildings. Um, I do believe there's already vegetation. I guess you're going to spruce it up in that one area on the south end, and that there is some existing vegetation, I see in the pictures you showed, just when I guess the northwest corner, just north of where the building is. I think the plan is, if we can zoom in a little bit, is actually to remove a bit of that wall right when you come on the property, so you can kind of access that area. If I'm
Well, what we're gonna propose to remove it all.
okay,
The wall kind of curves around. Um,
but there is vegetation there currently.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
not vegetated. Um, and so the shed and that patio were not permitted to my knowledge. They just went in. So I'm
Okay.
not totally sure that's a replacement. Um, and with the numbers we have right now, this type of project would trigger a stormwater permit, but I don't know if your roof area will change. My understanding was the decks on either side were covered decks, so that was, all counting towards the impervious on the site.
and
Um,
forgive me for my naivete, if those were just decks as opposed to covered decks or covered porches, does the area below the decking count in that circumstance as pervious or impervious?
I think we need a detail on the deck to just make sure what's happening there, and what's the surface going to be proposed underneath of the deck. But if it's not covered, that's most likely you can figure out how to make that impervious.
Okay, thank you.
And also
You mean most likely you can figure out how to make it pervious.
pervious. Thank you.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
All right. And then I do believe there is rare habitat on this site. So you had a letter initially from Fisheries and Wildlife.
Yeah,
Um, so
that's the green line. Yep.
so I don't know if this other work has been reviewed by them, but just as a reminder, if there's been a change in the plan, I would maybe send it to them to comment on.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I bring up the parking one more time because I do think more of this space than where that erosion control line is, the diagonal line, kind of going over the septic tank. I think the idea is to use just a little bit past that to be able to fit enough cars for both.
Yeah, the only thing I'll comment briefly on the parking question. Obviously, there's already parking occurring on the site and vehicles moving on the site. Um, when I did the project up further up Hummerock, the dock project that you just visited last week, Jen,
Hmm.
um, the that project had uh, called for parking on that resource area right there. And there was a discussion at the time, and I think it might make sense as this question might come up in other contexts out in Hummerock. Um, Greg DeCisa had a very emphatic opinion that parking is not jurisdictional to you.
Yes,
Uh,
but the vegetation is, and so I
Is,
can't believe people
yes,
that's not
yeah,
going to be affected while we're driving cars and backing them up and turning around all over this site.
okay, that's what.
That's where I'm going with that. I just
Okay,
want it to be a realistic plan that will, show what's happening.
got it. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Jen, you're all set?
And
Uh,
one last thing. Sorry. I think, of course, we would always suggest elevating the primary dwelling. That would be something to consider.
Yep.
Come on.
I think it's a financial issue.
All right. Brendan?
Yeah, so my question actually is kind of to you, Frank. So is it too late for me to recuse myself from this?
Not at all.
No.
Have a good reason, you should.
Um,
But I'm
No,
not
I-
going to request what.
no, I think that's fine.
Okay, I don't do that.
Pardon me?
Is it-
It's breaking up a lot. So you're requesting to recluse yourself from this project?
Yeah, recluse myself.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience that wants to speak to this evening?
Please raise your hand if you would like to be unmuted. And I don't see any hands raised.
Okay.
All right.
Moving.
Well, we've heard a lot tonight. I don't think I need to add any more at this time. I think you've heard the applicant's proposal to remove a couple more things and change some other, make some other changes. So I think I'm not sure that I can add any more.
Okay, so with that, I'm happy to request a continuance. I think we'll need some time to get the materials together. So um, perhaps someday in December.
Jen, what's good?
We have December 15th. I mean, we have December 1st. That might
No.
be a little soon. I think
Yeah.
December 15th is,
Yeah,
yeah.
15th is good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to continue Marshall Ave to December 15th.
Marshfield Ave.
Marshfield, I'm sorry.
Close. So that's
Yeah.
Penny. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I'll second.
Yep. I think that was Robbie.
Mhm.
All in favor, Jen?
Yep.
Brendan, you're not in. Eric
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Right? You got everybody?
Thank you for keeping an open mind, everybody. We'll see you in December.
Thank you,
Night.
Jeff. Okay. Let's see. 70 Glades Amendment. I need to open.
Wait, 46 Atlantic Drive? No? Do I have the wrong one?
Did I skip over that?
No,
No,
I-
I'm sorry.
46.
You're right. 46 Atlantic Drive. Sorry. And we've already opened this.
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe we have Darren Grady.
Yep.
Yes, I am here, and the Benellis are here as well as Julie Johnson.
Good evening. So
Jen,
where
do
do
you want
we,
me? Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
why don't you go ahead and give your
Spiel.
thoughts?
Sure.
Pick up where we left.
So at the last hearing, I believe there were some questions regarding the enclosure below the house. There was some questions about a site visit that some people wanted to see the site. We conducted the site visit, and during the site visit, we were asked to provide a detail or more detail on the enclosure below the house, and we were also asked to provide the square footage of the house. I revised the plan and submitted that. Recently, as recent as I think it was 4:30 this afternoon, received an email from Jen that was forwarded. That was actually from Bob Vogel. And Bob's email had pretty much said that the enclosure does not meet the building code. It needs to be above design elevation and not just above base flood elevation. The plan that I provided showed an enclosure above base flood elevation. What I'd like to do tonight, I'm going to ask the commission, is if they'd be willing to condition that no enclosure be put on the plan, and I would submit a new plan that would remove the enclosure from this project for the commission. Would that be acceptable?
Sure.
Does that sound right as far as the way I described that?
I think so. What you're saying is you're just not going to build that. You're going to have a set of
Correct.
stairs.
In the email from Bob Vogel, I'm hoping I described that correctly.
Jen, do you agree with that?
Yeah, this is we were diving into actually a different site, and this was an email he sent me late in the day, and I forwarded it to Darren. I guess I agree with what he's saying, and I'm open to that plan as far as, providing something that doesn't have the enclosure, or whatever the condition is of just making sure it meets building code.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that was the issues that we talked about at the site visit. If there's anything I missed, I'll be happy to um, um, answer those questions.
Sure. Okay. Jen, do you want to add anything else before we go to the members?
I don't have any other comments about the plan. I do have comments about possible conditions, but I guess it'd be better to wait and hear what what the rest of the conversation is.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So why don't we go with Penny?
Okay, Darren, open deck, a lot of open deck, huh?
That is correct.
It almost encompasses the whole house. And I'm to understand that there will be nothing, it's up on pilings and there will not be any enclosure down below. Did I hear that right?
That is correct.
How do I put this? Okay, there's not going to be an enclosure and it will just be on the sand, right?
Yes, so my detail did show that there would be a gravel bottom underneath the enclosure. So I'll remove the enclosure portion and I'll keep that the gravel bottom is specified on the plan.
Okay, I'm good, Frank, for the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Jen Foley?
Yeah, I think that all sounds good. I guess I just have one question, and I might get the words wrong because I didn't write them down as you were saying them. But you said, what were the two different levels that Bob Vogel said about the structure? It has to be to hide
So
tide
the
level?
if I can interject,
Yeah, please do.
the design flood elevation is 3 feet above the base flood elevation. So the base flood elevation is the velocity zone elevation of 15. So the
Yeah.
design elevation would be 18.
Eight.
So I believe if we were going to build an enclosure and the bottom was 18.1, that would suffice the building code. We decided to move forward with this application and this permit with no enclosure.
Okay.
So it
I was just
changed.
trying to understand the what the difference was in those two. So thanks for clarifying. More of an education moment.
Okay.
I'm all set.
All right. Brendan?
Hello, 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 hello.
We got you.
Oh, okay. I think I'm all set.
Okay. Eric?
Um, so yeah, I think that it's good that we're elevating the house. The existing is at grade. The removal of the concrete is also, if I'm correctly reading the plans, Darren, to all be removed, correct?
Yes, the existing concrete decking there will be removed.
Right. And the septic tank is being upgraded, yes.
The septic tank is not, is being
Oh.
retained.
Okay.
Can you see where that is over on the left half of the house?
Yes.
Yes, right there.
Yep,
All right. And the removal of the enclosure is
it's gone.
not an insignificant change either. So it is appreciated that that is going to be revised as well. I suppose other than that, I don't have anything else, Frank.
Okay.
Right.
Robbie?
Thank you, Frank. With the removal of the enclosure, there will just be stairs in its place. Is that accurate?
That is that is accurate. It's not in its place, but the stairs were within the enclosure on there, so
Mhm.
the stairs will be in will still need to be constructed there.
And they'll need to have some kind of solid foundation to bear on, like a concrete
They can be
footing of
put
some sort.
on they can be put on some sort of a pile, even if
Mhm.
it's not driven as deep as the ones that are supporting the whole house. The stairs don't have that much of a structural load as compared to the whole house.
Mhm. Okay, but not bearing on sand.
Correct.
Thank you. No other questions for me.
Okay. We have anybody in the audience on this one? Did I miss anybody?
Nope.
Do
I
we
don't
have
see any
anybody?
hands raised.
So there's the slabs going is Brooks mentioned is a real plus, and there is some removal of some concrete walls, which is helpful. It still leaves a long concrete wall as a seawall, which in Humrock is essentially not what they hope to have there, although I don't see any practicality to remove it without compromising a lot of other issues. But it's something that's gonna continue to be an issue over time. And just adding a much larger structure in an area it's already fairly sensitive. I get the argument right now. The applicant has a lower level that they'll lose when this structure gets raised. So therefore, they're looking to replace that. I guess that's it. It looks to me like it's pretty much compliant.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, can we close an issue, Jen?
We can. I
I wouldn't rush with the
All
issue.
right, no, I'm
Yeah, I would. I do want you to review some of the conditions.
yep, okay.
You know, I mean, I think that it is a big footprint. So, what we've done with some other sites is we've specifically, you know, we've mentioned some things about the decks are to be open and not covered.
Yep.
You know, the no lattice underneath, the crushed stone, crushed shell, or, compatible material under. And, Frank, I did want to also point out that they're actually going up higher than they need to go so that they can park under the house. Just, seeing people
Okay.
going up higher. And similar to what we do in other coastal places is making sure that it's compliant with building code and for coastal areas,
Yep.
in at time of construction and permit application.
Okay.
Sounds good. So I'll make a motion to close, Frank.
Yes, please.
Make a motion to close.
So who
I
would like
second
to?
that.
That's from Brendan. All in favor, Jen,
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank. Yes. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night. I'm going to open 70 Glades. This is an amendment on November 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. The Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for an amendment to the order of conditions filed by Horace and Emily. I'm going to kill this name. Can you say for the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling within coastal resources located at 70 Glades Road, Scituate. About as other interested parties are invited to attend. Information and access to meetings available on the agenda posted on the website. And I apologize for the name.
And we have Paul Gunn from Morse Engineering.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
So I've kind of been back and forth with Jen on this one all day. But I think we are going to unfortunately request a continuance on this one. I noticed as I was reviewing there's a conflict between a changed pile layout and the septic tank, which I think would facilitate a plan change. And given that it was discovered only a few hours before the hearing, obviously I wouldn't have had time to make that, nor would the commission have had time to review that change.
Okay. How much time do you need, Paul?
If the next hearing's open, that would be great. I mean, I'll have the plan to Jen tomorrow morning. It's just, you know,
Is it a big technicality or?
I don't think it's too big. It might take me, just an hour or two, but it's really that the septic tank location from before doesn't quite jive with the pile layout, which was changed slightly in the front of the dwelling. So I have to move that.
Okay. And you just don't want to move forward with that change to come back. You want to fill us in on the other parts or just wait?
I could if the commission wanted to. I was planning on just doing it all in one, but
Well, we have a little bit more time here tonight, so I think if it's just going to be a change in the piling plan and you're ready to present this, I don't know how everybody else feels, but that would be Mike. Jen?
I mean, if we want to hear the project, hear the changes, and then we can decide if from there.
I think that way you'll know if there's anything else, Paul, and then you can address it as well.
okay.
All right. If you want to give us I think what's important for us to know is what the changes are. Why is this being amended?
Yep, absolutely. I was just wondering if Jen needed to share the screen. All right, so for the record, my name is Paul Gunn. I'm a project engineer with Morse Engineering, here tonight to represent the applicant for the request to amend the order of conditions for 70 Glades Road. So just to remind the commission, this was a project that was originally approved in October of 2023, and it was a raise and rebuild for a single family home that had been burned down. Excuse me. Since the issuance of those order of conditions, the property owner has changed to Minot Beach Realty House Trust, and the proposed home plans have been altered. The resource areas on site include a FEMA Zone AE at elevation 15 and a VE at elevation 19. The site's also a barrier beach that consists of coastal dune. The new owners are requesting an amendment to the issued order of conditions for some alterations to the proposed dwelling. The first of these is that it shrinks the proposed structure slightly from 50 feet long to now 48 feet long. And it also seeks to reduce the deck by a couple feet as well in the rear yard. The front porch and deck configurations were also altered slightly. And it's that configuration change that I have to address the septic tank is the new layout of the porch and deck in the front yard. The other portion of this amendment is to propose to lower the structure from, it was originally designed at 18.1 to 16.1. Because the structure is now being lowered, or requested to being lowered, they are also proposing to have the shortened rear deck to be detached from the structure, as the rear deck lies partially in a FEMA zone VE, while the dwelling only lies within a zone AE. The utilities and gravel driveway remains unchanged by the new building layout. And as I mentioned previously, the scope of the septic tank work remains unchanged. I just have to shift the tank lightly to work with the new pile layout.
Okay. Jen?
Yes, so another a project going up on piles. The previous dwelling I don't believe was elevated. I want to say my comments from Board of Health are that they would have a deed restriction on the number of bedrooms. So they, that's how they're managing the increase in the house. This is interesting because although the footprint of the house is slightly smaller, it's going down a foot, which we don't, that's just something to consider. And then the deck, which is in the velocity zone, will actually be constructed below the velocity zone, but detached from the structure. So those are just some of the changes and the things to consider that the idea is this is going with what was the ninth edition versus what is the current building code for coastal of the 10th edition because of their application for the building permits starting back in June.
Okay. See. How about Jen Fold?
A lot of hard details in there. I guess I don't, uh, it's interesting to come down 2 feet, just when we hear, higher is better. So I'm not sh totally following that logic, but I guess as long as it's um permitted, and uh Jen would be able to speak to that more than or I would want Jen to sound off on that, but um yeah, I don't think I have um anything else.
Okay. Um, Eric?
Um, yeah, I mean, as I'm looking at this and have been sort of keeping my eye on this, it seems counterintuitive to go down a foot and essentially become non-compliant with current regulations. It's the wrong direction. We don't want to be heading that way, regardless of the fact that it's been grandfathered in because of when the application for this permit was filed. I understand that that's how it works. It just, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around logically why you would want to be going backwards, other than, as it seems, there was an initial push to have this be a 4-bedroom house, and the lowering of the elevation would enable the house to have a full 3rd floor, which it isn't necessarily within our jurisdiction, but it's just something that I find interesting, that the lowering of the house is going towards pushing for something that would not necessarily be allowed per the Board of Health, increasing the bedrooms from 3 to 4. Now, obviously, that's not going to be allowed because of a deed restriction on the property, but it's just continues to bug me why we're going in the wrong direction, especially with the deck. You look at that, and it is now, you know, non-compliant, and not necessarily non-compliant, but what I'm saying is putting it below velocity. I mean, we're trying to protect storm damage, and anything that could be a projectile or anything like that. We're trying to avoid. So it's a little perplexing to me, going in the wrong direction here. I guess that's really all I need to say. That's all I have for now, Frank.
Okay, thank you. Brendan, did we in yet?
Yeah. Hopefully you could hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just be brief and say that I'm just going to agree with everything that Eric said. I have those same feelings, everything he has said, and I have nothing additional to add to that.
Okay, thank you. Robbie?
I have no comments on this.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience in this one?
Yeah, Penny sitting at home.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Yeah,
already in there.
No, you were just ignoring me. That's okay. My feelings are fine. I agree. I don't understand why you would go down. It makes no sense whatsoever. So my question actually is to Jen Smith. If the other amendments that they want to make, I really don't have a problem with. Can we deny that particular of putting it down lower, going down a foot, 2 feet, the pilings?
I do think if you're in a dune that it's subject to elevation requirements of the order of conditions.
Yeah.
So what is in their current order of conditions talks to at the time of construction and permit application that it should be compliant. So but maybe they can tell us a bit more about why. Why was it initially going to be higher? Was there a reason for that? And there might be more to that, but we can at least condition it to be, meet state building code for coastal area.
All right. But it
Paul,
makes no sense.
Paul, can you
So-
explain that why this is going down?
Yeah, so from I believe it was what Officer Craig stated in his letter was, I believe when it was the Plunketts who were the applicant on this house,
Mm.
the intention was to try and facilitate some parking beneath the building. And the new owners don't have any interest in doing that.
Oh,
I believe that was the explanation. And then of course too, before the deck was attached, at that point it was still below the VE. I believe the deck was at 18 and the VE is at 19. But yeah, so they that was one of the other reasons was that parking issue, I believe.
How many stories is this building going to be?
I believe the amended structure is 3 stories.
Well, that might be a reason that they're trying to lower it.
the amended, you saying it was gonna be 4 stories?
It was going to be 2,
Yeah, that's what I
and now
thought.
they're looking for 3, so they're dropping the height, maybe for a height requirement.
Could be.
If I can, hi, this is Horace. I'm the owner of the property. Can I maybe?
Good evening.
Good evening. Can I maybe answer some of the questions?
Sure.
So
Yes, please.
basically, please consider this property in relation to the Plunketts that you have already approved. So, according to building, regardless on whatever the condition is, if the deck is in a different velocity zone, in a different zone, it has to be detached from the house. So the deck is detached from the house. And like Paul said, we have no intention of parking cars underneath the house. So we lowered it to the current FEMA when we did the application at that time. Has been a very long, ongoing, multi-year project for us to try to rebuild since the fire. And unfortunately, everybody's assumption was if we go smaller, everything will be fine. And we are finding, unfortunately, that's not the case. And we are extremely frustrated, to say the least. But just to update the board, we've already gotten approval from every department, building, from health, from every department except for Concom. So again, the difference between this and the Plunkets, the rear deck, regardless, will be lower than velocity zone because on when we own 72 Glades, that requirement was to be 9 feet up in the air. So there's no deck that's going to be 9 feet up in the air that can be accessed from the house. So the reason why it's lower now is just because to follow the house, and the reason why the house is lowered because that's the FEMA standard that has already been approved by building, and we do not want to use parking underneath the house. And again, the difference is just 1 foot shorter on the deck on each side, 2 feet shorter on the house. Everything else, the footprint, everything else, the width is about the same thing as the Plunkets, including the plan for the septic. I mean, technicalities, maybe Paul said that he would need to shift things a little bit just to match with the current pile plan. But that's very minor technicality since it's identical house, identical 3-bedroom. There's no change to the Plunkets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Paul, is the septic system already installed?
Yeah, so in this case, because they're maintaining the 3 bedrooms with the deed restriction, we're installing a new septic tank, but we're maintaining the existing leaching field.
Gotcha. Okay. And the building department's okay with the house at this elevation?
Yes, the building has already approved because it's still under 40 feet.
Well, you haven't received the building permit yet, correct?
No, correct. But I've gone through a couple of corrections with Bob from building, and the amendment of this change in size was approved in the last building zoning meeting.
Yeah, the zoning though that's fine, but the zoning doesn't usually dictate the elevation. But there is Bob deals with that through the state and through FEMA. All right. I don't really have a hang up with closing this and letting you come back with a revised plan if it's just a matter of shifting a pile or shifting the tank. I don't know which one you're doing. Right now, you've got a pile going through the middle of the tank, so I assume that's not going to work.
Yeah, basically those center rows kind of shifted a bit, so I would just be moving the tank to either the left or the right.
Okay.
May I ask again for the board to reconsider about pushing this to another hearing again? The only reason why we are not on top of why the septic plan wasn't drawn properly by Morse Engineering is because Emily's father just passed. So we spent 2 weeks in New Jersey. I left at least 6 messages with Morse Engineering to make sure that they did it correctly, that they're prepared for today's meeting.
We're not worried about it. To be honest with you, I'm suggesting that we don't continue. That this is a simple change that can be made. That there's no reason that we can't close.
Got it. Thank you.
Maybe I didn't explain myself clearly.
I apologize.
No. So I could do that, and I guess the only thing that I would make sure, Jenna, is that we had good verbiage in the orders with regard to the elevation, that this is allowable. And
right.
We'll go with what is allowed
Only.
to the building code. But okay.
And just for a matter of clarification, if you don't mind, Frank.
No, go ahead.
With the original order of condition, stating that the house should be built in accordance with the building code at the time of construction. Now, is that? I guess I'm just a little confused because I understand that it's grandfathered in because of the application date being under the 9th code, not the 10th, which is what we're currently under, but the current orders state that at the time of construction. So I guess I'm just confused as to what supersedes what here. And if the 9th code is what in fact is allowable, then I would then assume that this change is compliant and can be ordered.
I get
right,
it,
Jen.
I mean, I have a construction super's license, and sometimes I get twisted around as to what's supposed to happen with these code changes and at what time during the job. Obviously, if the job's underway, it's okay. And what the applicant's saying is that they made their application during the 9th edition, right? Is what I'm assuming.
Correct.
But wasn't the initial application to be to the 10th?
That's what I'm a little confused about.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that when we're voting on this, we understand that what is being proposed is allowable for us to approve.
That's what I'm saying needs to be in the orders.
Yeah.
Paul, can you just clarify that for me? That the house that we approved was at a higher elevation, am I correct?
It was, yes.
So we conditioned this at a higher elevation. And now you're coming back and part of the amendment is to lower the house with the argument that you can do that because the house was applied for under the 9th edition. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
And the condition too, we're considering the Mass State Building Code, Jen. That's condition 44, right? Just so I'm reading that correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that could be part of our orders. I don't think we need to belabor this. I think that between the building department and Jen, but if it's supposed to be at the higher elevation, that's where we would like to see that. And I think that's a matter of sorting that out with the building department. So
Okay.
all right.
All right. And I mean, some of the other things that were in there will remain. Some of the original conditions about the site, about the surface for the driveway, about no lattice underneath, and we've structure approved at maximum square footage in perpetuity. I think there's a lot of covered porches here.
Yep.
There is.
So all of those should remain just as they were before.
Okay.
So we're gonna close this like a normal hearing, right?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that to Jen's point, all those other pieces are going to be in the orders. So,
Yes,
I mean, we've already heard this project essentially. I guess that's
right.
And we'll get a plan with the updated location to make for the septic.
Okay.
Sure thing.
So I'll make a motion to close, Frank? Yep.
Sure.
I make a motion to close.
That's Penny. Do I have a second?
I second that.
That's Brendan. All in favor? Jen?
Yep.
Eric?
Yep.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Paul.
Yeah.
What do we get now? 8 Oliver. On November 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Mass General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, for a notice of intent filed by Glenn and Mary Beth
Giovannucci.
Giovannici, sorry. The addition of a single-family dwelling within the buffer to the BVW located at 8 Oliver Street, Scituate. Butters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on these website. So, what do we have for that one?
I think Morse.
I'm up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Paul.
up again.
Oh.
So just again for the record, Paul Gunn, project engineer, Morse Engineering, here tonight to represent the applicant for the notice of intent at 8 Oliver Street. So this property today consists of an existing single-family dwelling with a rear yard deck and several smaller side decks, a wooden ramp and an attached garage, a shed, and a mixture of landscape, lawn, and crushed stone areas. The main parking area, the gravel area they use for parking is off of Oliver Street. In the rear yard, there's a timber seawall, an existing dock and float that lie within the North River, a coastal tidal river.
Oh, yeah.
The resource areas on site include the 200-foot riverfront area associated with the South River, as well as land subject to coastal storm flowage. The entire property lies within a FEMA Zone AE, elevation 13. The site is also considered a barrier beach composed of coastal dune. So the proposed work under this notice of intent includes the proposed expansion of the rear yard deck. This expansion would require the installation of approximately 16 new deck footings, resulting in a disturbance to the riverfront area and coastal dune of approximately 16 square feet. The deck expansion would also include a new set of stairs, as well as a connection to the existing dock platform. The work is largely restricted to previously disturbed areas, and an erosion control barrier is proposed to mitigate any potential adverse effects concerning erosion or sedimentation into the South River. I also need to point out some unpermitted work to the commission that was done back in 2023. So this work was done in the aftermath of a car accident, essentially, off River Street that spilled onto the property. The crash damaged a small tree that was at the corner of River Street and Oliver Street, a picket fence along River Street, and also disturbed some portions of the yard area along River Street. At that time, the applicant removed the tree and fence remains and then placed crushed stone over that portion of the yard to stabilize that area. He was not aware at the time that a conservation permit would have been required for the work. The reason he opted for the crushed stone over the lawn was because, the soil is quite sandy down here. Lawn can be tricky to take. And also, his daughter is wheelchair bound, and it was much easier for her to navigate a crushed stone area as opposed to the kind of the sandy surface that was there before. I believe that's all I have. I will turn it over to the commission for question and comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen?
I agree with the resource areas, riverfront, barrier beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage, and no comments from DEP on this project.
Okay. Penny?
No, I don't have any questions. Just, Paul, remind the client that any little thing, they really should at least come in and talk to Jen, if you want to change anything in your yard.
I
Thank
will,
you.
yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Robbie?
I have no comments on this.
Eric?
It's pretty.
I do appreciate Paul just pointing out the work that was done on the front of the house. That was something that I was curious about, noting just the prior satellite images of the vegetation in the front of the yard having disappeared. So I do appreciate the forwardness on that. I am wondering, I know it's a very tight lot, and I do know that there's not a lot of space, but I was just wondering, given the proximity of this project to the river, as well as some of the existing vegetation that was lost in the front of the house, if there would be any areas that the applicant might consider doing a few mitigation plantings somewhere else on the property. Again, I understand that there is, it's a tight lot, But with that, I am curious because there does seem to be some vegetation uh, on the corner of the lot, paper south, if you will, just below where the deck meets the connection to the dock. Along that strip of wall there does appear to be some vegetation, and I'm wondering if that is going to be disturbed or removed during this construction project. So those are my two items, Bill.
Sure. So yeah, it's currently not the applicant's intention to disturb any more vegetation on the property. They're actually quite keen to make sure it's not disturbed. I think, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's quite a tight lot. So whatever we propose, we'd want to just make sure there's actually some longevity in whatever was planted. Um, would the commission be open to perhaps a replacement tree to the tree that was lost, or would we be more looking for something in lines of kind of dune plantings?
Natural.
Yeah, I don't want to be onerous, in the request. I just want to recognize, the sensitivity of the area and the proximity of this work is in the former loss of vegetation. If it would be less of a pull to do some native dune vegetation rather than a tree, I'd be happy with that.
Me too.
I'll leave it up to others to agree, disagree, or comment otherwise.
Okay. Who would I? Brendan?
Yeah, so again, I'm agreeing here with Eric. That I would like to just see something if possible to replace what was lost or what something like that. But otherwise, I have no other questions.
Okay.
Native.
Penny, did you?
Yeah,
comment?
I went. Robbie, I think, is left. Oh, is Jen
Okay.
still here?
I think Jen Foley.
Yeah. It's always
Is
nice
she?
going after Eric. And but agree on the getting something back there, but flexible on what that is.
Okay.
Native.
Have I missed anybody?
Can I add one other thing? So like
Yep.
if just in hindsight, taking into consideration what the family might need for ground surface area for the daughter, if there's other things that they would like to be doing, it would be good to just have them all on the plan. If there's other areas that could use some leveling or different stone surface, it would be, let's get the surface right for the family.
Yeah, so I can certainly bring that up to the applicant. He seemed to be, I think, I think what they have right now is suffice to meet their needs, but I'll certainly double check with him and make sure
Yeah.
that that's the extent of what they might need there for accessibility.
Okay. Anybody else? Do we have anybody in the audience for this?
I don't
I don't-
see any hands raised at the
Did you
moment.
call Robbie? Am I?
Yeah, I think I asked early on, didn't I? Ron?
Okay.
I think. Again, anybody that wants to comment, feel free. I think that's a good point, Jen. If, they do need to have anything to accommodate
Yeah.
that, but it seems like you've got it mapped out pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed in this case if there were walkways that had to be, more of a hard pack kind of surface or whatever, if that were needed. We have Julie Johnston's hand up. Is that?
Yes, Julie, I'm unmuting you.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, I'm working with the Giovannucci's on this plan, and really the scope of the work was for their deck to be accessible and expanded to what we've shown for Lauren's accessibility. As far as getting in and out of the house, they've got that nailed down. I don't see any other needs for accessibility for her. It was really this deck being expanded and that small section of connection to the dock. So that's been pretty well thought out. And so I just wanted to make sure it was clear there really isn't any, they've thought it through pretty well.
Okay,
But
thank you.
so
Okay,
we're gonna
Um,
close and what?
we don't have anybody else. I think we're good.
I would close an issue.
Okay, I make a motion to close an issue.
That's
on all
Penny.
of it. Yep.
Second,
I'll
Second
second.
from Jen,
I think Jen got you, Eric.
just barely.
Okay, all in favor, Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great, thank you.
Thank you. And would you like me to just work with Jen on, a potential few spots for some plantings just after the fact, or just a revised
Yeah.
plan, or
Frank, I can just put it in the conditions if they want to put some native plants in that they
Oh,
can.
do they want to that we want them to?
Oh, that native. I mean, do we want to have a location picked out, or we want to say that we want some additional native plants?
I would say have it in there that they supply us with a plan.
Okay. Okay.
For that
Got it.
would be good. All right.
Not much, yeah.
Okay. That's
Moving.
it. So now we're on to 12 Cairo Circle. On November 5th at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Thomas and Catherine Ryan for the addition of a single-family dwelling with a buffer to the BVW located at 12 Cairo Circle, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information access to meetings available on the website.
Here again, just for the record, Paul Gunn, project engineer at Morse, to represent the applicant for the NOI application at 12 Cairo Circle. So this property today consists of an existing single-family dwelling with an associated paved driveway, a screened porch, some hardscaping in the form of a walkway and a patio, and then a mixture of lawn, landscaped, and wooded areas. Resource areas near the project include a bordering vegetated wetland that was delineated by John Zimmer on June 19th, 2024, with the 100-foot buffer extending across approximately half the property. The property otherwise lies in a FEMA Zone X. It's not in any estimated or priority habitats and is not located near any potential or certified vernal pools. The applicant is proposing to construct an addition off the side of the dwelling. The addition is proposed to be 18 by 24 feet and constructed on a concrete foundation with a full basement. The proposed addition would be 95 linear feet off of the BVW and placed on a previously disturbed portion of the lawn. Some clearing is proposed in order to facilitate access and excavation for the addition, and also to prevent any heavy construction traffic from going over the septic leaching field or septic tank. An erosion control barrier is placed at the limit of work to prevent any adverse impacts from sedimentation or erosion into the BVW. I believe that's all I have. I'll turn it over to the commission. Thank you.
Okay. My list here. Who would like to go first? Brendan.
Yeah, I guess so. You have some clearing. Is there anything going to be planted?
That's it. Yeah.
Please.
We're not currently proposing anything, but I think we are certainly amenable to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, you're going into the 100, I guess, right? So yeah, that was my only question on this one.
Okay, sense. Brendan, Eric,
Someplace.
Penny, I'm not going to let you go first.
I had the same question as Brendan, just on the amount of clearing and if there was to be any plantings to replace any of the stuff that was cleared. So same thing as Brendan on that one. I don't think I have anything else at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Jen?
Yeah, I think you know, same as others have said around understanding what the mitigation would be for the clearing.
Okay. Robbie?
No comments from me on this.
And Jen Smith, I don't know, I'm not sure I got to you on first on this.
No comments from DEP. Great that there's, well, the erosion control helps to also be limit of work to manage what's going on back there, and it does not trigger stormwater.
Okay. Right. Anybody in the audience? I think you folks have got it all covered. I'm good.
I'll make a motion to I make a motion to close and issue, Jen.
Yes.
I make a motion to close and issue Carol Circle.
Okay, that's a motion from Penny. Or a second.
I'll second that.
Jen. Ooh, beat you, Brendan.
Oh,
No, I
this
think I
guy's
got it
going.
first.
I'm going to give that one to Brendan just because. Sorry, he's just
Harsh.
he gets a handicap. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay.
All in favor, Jen? Foley?
Fine.
Eric?
Yeah.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Okay. That was we're doing pretty good here. Let's not ruin it. Paul, got 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
Doing pretty good
Thank you for your
tonight.
time. And just I'll send Jen a, same as the other one. I'll send her a revised plan with some plantings shown on it.
Perfect. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
So now we're on to our administrative issues. You want to do?
Can we?
Go ahead, Penny. What would you like us to do, Penny?
What I would like you to do is do the minutes first, and then my request.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I make a motion. We accept the minutes of 9/22 and 10/6 as written.
With a couple of amendments.
Yeah, and 10/6 isn't done yet, so.
Oh, well, why is it on here?
We were hopeful.
What did I read?
Yeah, I
Okay,
got optimistic is what happened.
9/2,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah,
9/22.
with the changes that Jen had mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got a motion. Second.
Second from Jen.
I'll second.
You way too late, Eric. Brendan.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Robbie.
Yes.
Frank, yes. Great, thank you. Now, what would you like, Penny?
Okay, I have a little issue. Somebody needs to step up. CPC next Monday at the library, 6:30. I am housebound for another week. I can't go, but they are going to be discussing the cranberry bogs on Old Oak and Bucket. I think it's very important that somebody from Concom is there to hear that. The owner and whatever, they are going to speak at that meeting. But we
When is
don't
that?
do it's next Monday, and we don't do Zoom. So
Okay.
and and I'm not allowed out yet. So
Hmm.
I can
I,
send
I,
somebody
I
in
can
my
try
place.
to, I can try to go to that one
It's just, I
unless
think
someone
that,
else.
yeah,
So what we do is, why am I getting such an echo?
I don't know, but you are echoing.
Josh, do you have any
This is
idea?
Josh.
It's probably, it's Josh's fault.
What did I do now?
I'm getting a real echo.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it. That fixed it.
Okay. So, we have a liaison to CPC or a member, and Penny's our designated member at CPC. So I'm assuming we could send someone else in your
Yes, you
place.
can. Dan said you could.
Okay. I'm interested in this, but I'm open to somebody else attending. If anybody has some thoughts on that, this is kind of a preliminary discussion with the owners of the bogs on Oloke and Bucket and how they might be acquired. And I think it's important to the commission. It's great open space that would be a huge asset. And hopefully we'd
And it's
have,
unique. It's another unique spot in town, you know?
right.
But
So
I just think a lot of info will be, and I just can't be there. If I could Zoom, I would, but we don't Zoom there.
okay. So anybody else have an interest for Monday night, the 10th? All right, we'll figure it out,
Sorry.
Penny.
Can't make that
Nope.
work. Sorry.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm out of town. I'm sorry.
I'm happy to try to be there because I do have a pretty strong interest. We've been talking about this. Jen and I have been talking. We went to the
Yeah.
bog.
Yeah.
We went to the DCR thing, which included properties with that's yeah.
I
Okay,
can send the agenda to you, Frank, so you have an idea.
that would be
You know,
great.
I forget where they are, but I'll send the agenda over to you. I'd love to be there. I'm really interested. So
Okay, and my apologies to the other members. I meant to send you all an email prior to the meeting to let you know that Penny's been a little cooped up already for a bit. So if she seems a little more vocal, it's that she's been talking to the dog and the cat for a week or so.
oh yes.
Okay.
All
All right.
Yeah.
So we got to those. The amendment for
For the
Oloke and Bucket.
cottages. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll hear that at the next one. I just wanted to, make sure we're good to hearing it as an amendment. They're getting rid of a lot of the retaining walls, and so then changing the slope at all of those locations. And it has been reviewed from the stormwater perspective, but these are changes, within that 100-foot buffer. So anyway, they filed an amendment, and then 42 Crescent Ave, they made some changes to their plan. This is up by the road, so out of the coastal bank area, but because they have a stormwater permit, they added a wall across the front of the property and cobblestone off the road. So kind of did some back and forth and came to a place where Deb accepted it to meet the stormwater.
Good.
So that one I think is good to go unless you want to hear more or see more about it.
Are you comfortable with it?
Yes.
Does anybody else want to hear about that? Be quiet.
All good.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, it won't be an 8-foot wall like 40. So
No.
It's supposed to be less than 4 feet.
yeah.
Okay, we're almost done.
And I would like to see that amendment for Oloke and Bucket, Jen, as we discussed. That's
Okay.
significant. And I'm assuming that's going to kick off a couple other things for them, but we'll see what happens.
They've been to zoning.
Okay. All right. Any enforcement orders?
No.
You gave me one letter for the Glen, and you and I can discuss this further, but this is that fence that never got removed as part of the Hennessy property that goes way
Right.
back. And we are going to try to pursue this. It should be out of there. And Jen and I have been discussing it, and she's drafting up a letter that will hopefully get to town council. It was a project that was built with some land that came to the town under CPC, but with a stipulation that a bunch of heavy chain link fence was supposed to be removed as part of that project, and it was in their
By the
orders. It's never been done, and it's been tricky because projects flipped a few times, but I think we know where the dust should settle, so hopefully we can get after that one.
Well, what's sad, Frank, but it is a lesson to us that when we have an order like that it has to be done before construction starts, because they basically they got everything they asked for, and we asked for one measly thing, you know.
Well, either that or we need to have a serious amount of cash in
Yeah,
something
exactly.
to make it worth their while.
Exactly.
Yep.
It really
Agreed.
frosts me. Shouldn't have happened, but there we go.
Okay. What else do we have?
I thought you wanted to talk about
Appleton Field.
The dish pan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh,
for
no.
two things. So that we're really fortunate. Town meeting last night, they voted unanimously to purchase the 16 acres off Clap Road for the dish pan. So that's a real big plus for us. That'll add 16 acres to over 300 acres that we have in the Bates Lane, Higgins McAllister area. So pretty excited about that one. Still a process to go forward with getting it surveyed and deeds and all that sort of thing. But it's you could see there was just clear support for open space. And we also had our article about $35,000 approved, so we can continue to do maintenance and upgrades to our trails and parking areas and other conservation properties. So we had a good night last night on those regards, which was nice.
We like some good news, Frank. We like that.
Yeah, good news is hard to come by some days, but okay. And then what else did I have, Penny? Oh, Appleton Field.
The signage, yeah, for the field.
So years ago, Appleton Field was acquired, and at the time, the owners of the property, their last name was Appleton. When the application went in, it went in as Appleton, and so the property got named Appleton Field. And I was recently talking with the folks that sold it to the town, and they were always thought that maybe it should have been called Merritt Field. Merritt's an old family name that's in the West End, and it was in the Merritt family, and they were sort of disappointed that maybe it could have been named Merritt Field rather than Appleton. However, the folks that are doing the community garden up there have already stepped up, and they've named their the community garden. It's Jen, you can it's like Appleton Farm Community Garden or something
Like that.
So, but in talking with them, they don't have what this comes down to is we don't have a sign that says that on that entrance to that access area. It says Crosby property. And it doesn't say anything about Appleton, and they've sort of made a makeshift sign at the bottom for Appleton Field. So what we'd like to do is have a second sign below the first one. It'll be in the blue format that we've done the other signs, and it would say something like Appleton Community Garden at Merritt Field or something to that effect. And wondering if anybody has any strong feeling or concern about doing something like that.
That's a mouthful, though, Frank, using both names.
Well, we'll come up with a way that makes it look right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody? Brendan, you're right down the street. Any thoughts on that one?
I really don't have any thoughts
Okay.
at all.
That's not true. That's not true.
I think it's a good idea to honor the Merritt family and acknowledge that's where the property originated. Well, at least within Western speak, at least.
Yeah.
It originally was indigenous people. So
That's right.
but I
Yeah.
do think it would be a nice nod to the Merritt family.
We tried with each one of these properties to add, work with whoever we're buying the property from or acquiring it, whether it's Higgins McAllister or, Hubble, those places, and maybe even this one. There won't be a real formal entrance to these two properties, but we'll try to come up with some sort of naming in a post or something. So yeah, I think it's the right thing to do.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I agree.
Appreciate it. All right, that's it for me. It's
All
not
right.
quite 8:00, so
I
Oh,
have
that's all right.
one CFC that we plan on issuing, the really old one from, I just wanted to let you know, we're going to issue that one.
Oh, 1978.
1978.
I love it.
and
There's
Jen,
a sale on the property, so that's
Yeah.
why it popped up.
Oh, God help us.
and we're still trying to come up with a time to get informal meeting with commission members, and I'm happy to feed everybody with some pizza or whatever if we could find a time to do that. I know we're starting to get into tough time of year to make time available, but maybe we can continue to pursue a couple of dates, see what we can come up with.
Sounds good.
All right,
I make a motion to go home. Adjourn.
take that. Have a second.
Second
Yes, I'll
from Jen.
second that.
I think Jen was really, Eric, you're going to have to go fast.
Yeah, big loser tonight.
You are.
I give that one to Eric. Eric,
Yeah, all right.
I'm going to give it to Eric.
Second by
A
Eric.
pity second.
Wow.
Whatever.
All in favor? Jen,
Yes.
Brendan,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
All right.